Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Join Terry with Tracer Rounds every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central to hear interviews with veteran artists, veteran business owners, and businesses that support veterans. Tune in to see if you're on target. Catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and MB Radio, giving veterans a voice.
Welcome back to Tracer Rounds. You're on the Military Broadcast Radio platform. And in the studio today with me, I have Mallory Crabtree, who is a Gold Star daughter. And we're so excited to talk to her today. Welcome, Mallory.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm glad to be here.
So I'm not sure if all of our audience knows what a Gold Star family or a Gold Star daughter is. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what that means to you?
Yes, of course. So a Gold Star family is a intermediate family who lost a family member that was close to them in the active line of duty in the military. And a daughter of a fallen soldier is the daughter of the soldier who was killed in action. And it means a lot to me that people understand what a Gold Star family is, because us as families have sacrificed a lot for our freedoms and for our dreams to achieve things that we want to do in life. And, dreams were cut short for these individuals who were killed in action. And we have to continue on and dream and achieve things on their behalf because their life was cut short.
Absolutely. So you were 17 months old when your father was killed.
Correct.
And so how has your mother kept you connected to your dad after all this time? Since you grew up really not knowing him, I'm sure you've seen pictures, and I'm sure you've been told stories, and I'm sure, your family always keeps him ever present for you to help you kind of navigate those feelings. And how has that process been for you and your mom?
So growing up, my family always, told me who my dad was, told me stories growing up. So I could understand him at that level that they know him as. They tried their best because being 17 months old, I don't remember him at all. I don't have any memories to cherish. And, my mom always made sure I knew my dad through, my mom got a lot of videos taped. We have on CDs of his voice. So it's good that I can like hear his voice and I can know him on, that personal level that they knew him as. And, my mom has so many pictures of him, and both my dad's parents have made me scrapbooks that I can once share with my future children and, carry his legacy on through the family.
That's pretty awesome that you have those memories, because some families don't think to have recordings, keep recordings and things like that around, because you don't want the worst to happen, obviously.
Right.
So you don't really prepare for that necessarily. You don't save some of those things. So it's really a great thing that they've saved that and they have that for you, because what a blessing it would be to have that, be able to just listen to his voice and just, see those pictures and those scrapbooks. That probably mean everything. So I know that you started public speaking around either at 16 or 17. What made you decide that you wanted to do that?
So when I was younger, because I found out about my dad, I really fully put everything together when I was 4 years old. So I was in my room. I really grew up on, Miley Cyrus's songs, actually, like her, Hannah Montana and just those songs. And I would be, listening to that in my room on my karaoke machine. And it made me think, going to preschool and kindergarten, that people, had their children my own age had their dads and had these memories. And it always made me wonder, where's my dad? And, I finally, I was in tears when I had figured this out. And I had asked my mom, where is my dad,
Yeah.
And my mom had told me, for the sake of being 4 years old, she told me a bad guy had killed him. So just knowing that, it kind of inspired me to want to do something in the future and to carry on his legacy, just like my family had always done for me, and just carry on those legacies of fallen soldiers in general, not even just my dad, but others, and that's really how I got into it. And I got a special forces building was dedicated in my father's honor on Rickenbacker's air base down in Columbus, Ohio. And they had asked me if I knew if any of the family members wanted to speak. And I said, I want to do it. I was 17 years old. I was a senior in high school. And I took the opportunity, and my family was like, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, I want to do this because it just helped me with my grief. It helped me overcome a lot. And like my dad's, death didn't really affect me that much because I don't remember him on that level.
So were you really nervous when you started public speaking, or did it just come natural to you, or does it come natural to you? Because usually people are, so nervous and they start stuttering and they get, red. And did you find yourself doing that, or did you find yourself real steady because you just felt like you just needed to be there doing that?
It came, I was scared, but it honestly, once I got up there, it came naturally to me. Yeah. And I knew that was my calling, and I knew that's what I needed to do. Yeah. And it came naturally to me. And I graduated high school May of 2023, and I went off to college, and that day never left my mind. It never left my mind, and I knew I wanted to do it again.
Wow. That's pretty awesome. So what did you take in high school? Was there anything you took to prepare for that? Were you in drama? Were you in speech? Were you in any kind of club where you were like a speaker or anything?
I was not in anything. Really?
Mm-hmm. And you just took to it like that?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome. So it was a gift that God gave you and something in your heart, because somebody that's able to just pick up and start talking and not really have that, that fear of public speaking or that desire to hide and not be out in front of people. That's pretty awesome, because it takes a really strong person and somebody with a real story and a message to be able to do that. So my hat's off to you for that, because
Thank you.
well, young, I mean, I would never have wanted to, believe me. I would have been like, nope, that would have been the last thing on my plate I would want. I would be like, no, somebody else can take that job. Not for me.
Yeah, I mean, so like I wouldn't do it in high school. Like if I had to speak in front of the class, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would get so nervous with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a story I've been telling my entire life. And it's something that I grew up telling friends and family and, different people, like growing up, my friends know the story of my father and his legacy and, how he was a police officer, So I just grew up telling it, and it's just a story that I'm going to continue for the rest of my life.
That's pretty awesome. So I have a picture of your dad. Is it all right if I pop it up?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. And he's in his police uniform.
Yeah. Yep. That's his Cuyahoga Falls. So he was
handsome looking police officer.
He was probably in his 20s, so around the same age as me now.
Wow.
Well, he would have been older than 21, so not quite there yet. But
yeah, he should. So how soon after he got out of high school did he? Because I know he joined the military in '92. So what year did he graduate? Do you know?
I'm not sure what year he graduated. He graduated from Lake High School, which is here in Ohio. He did do early enlistment. He was 17 years old when he enlisted in the Army.
Okay, so that was in '92 then. Yeah, because he enlisted in the Army Reserve and then he enlisted in the Guard in '93.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That sounds about right.
So he was fresh out of high school that he decided to join.
Right. When he was younger, that's what he wanted to do.
That was his dream.
Yep.
That's
sure
awesome.
Was. He wanted to be a Green Beret.
And he made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm going to take a break early and I wanted to play something for you. And I didn't tell you ahead of time, so I hope it's okay, but we're going to play this and you'll see why I'm saying it's a surprise. So we're going to play Tribute to the Troops, and then we'll be right back with Mallory. So we're going to pop this up on the screen and then we'll be right back.
Detail attention.
First call. The service member's name is called out loud in the context of a unit. This is meant to ensure all are present and accounted for. Second call. The name is called again, louder to confirm that the service member is indeed absent. Third call. The name is called for a final time, followed by a statement indicating that the service member is not present and accounted for, signifying their death. The final roll call serves as a symbolic gesture to respect and remember their service.
Sir, I don't know how to tell this story.
Well, you got to, Joe. You tell the American people what these men did here. You tell them how my troopers died.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to MBR today as we pay tribute to Sergeant First Class Daniel B. Crabtree, age 31 of Canton, Ohio, born on November 13th, 1974 in Columbus, Ohio. Dan was assigned as a weapons sergeant in the Ohio Army National Guard, Company B, 2nd Battalion, 19th Special Forces Group, Airborne, Columbus, Ohio, at the time of his death. After initially entering military service with the Army Reserve in 1992, Crabtree joined the Army National Guard in 1993 as an administrative specialist. He later retrained as a military policeman and served with the 135th Military Police Company in Brook Park, Ohio. He joined the 19th Special Forces Group in March of 2002, and in 2003 he was selected to attend the Special Qualifications course at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He entered the coveted Green Beret. He graduated from the course in May of 2004. In civilian life, Crabtree worked as a police officer, first in his native hometown of Hartsville, and then as a member of the Cuyahoga Falls Police Department Special Weapons and Tactics, or SWAT unit. In Iraq, the work Crabtree and his Special Forces Operation Detachment focused primarily on training members of the Al-Quds SWAT and the Iraqi police force. Crabtree himself developed and implemented a comprehensive training curriculum for the Iraqi SWAT volunteers, which included advanced marksmanship training, offensive and defensive driving instruction, and urban assault training. As a police force lead trainer, Crabtree drew on his own experience as a police officer and SWAT team member to prepare his Iraqi officers to counter both local criminal and insurgent forces. He also assisted the Al-Quds SWAT in more than 35 real-world missions as a combat advisor, including 6 large-scale air assault operations, which resulted in the capture of over 100 known insurgents. He died June 8, 2006 in Al-Quds, Iraq, after a roadside bomb exploded next to his Humvee during a combat patrol. He was deployed to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom and attached to the Combined Joint Special Forces Task Force, Arabian Peninsula. He was in his second tour of duty in Iraq and was living his high school dream as a member of the Army Special Forces. He and his wife had just finished building a house on the outskirts of Greene in Summit County. He was posthumously awarded the Bronze Star, Purple Heart, and Meritorious Service Medal, and a Combat Infantry Badge. Crabtree is survived by his wife, Kathy, his daughter, Mallory, of the city of Greene. He is also survived by his father, Ronald Crabtree, and his mother, Judy Ann Crabtree. He is also survived by his brothers in blue and those he served with in the Army National Guard. We here at NBR would like to thank you, Sergeant First Class Daniel Crabtree, for your service and dedication to our country. You leave a legacy of love and courage. Our prayers are with your friends, family, and those who served alongside you. You are greatly missed.
Bell detail, pinch it. Ready.
It's the guts and it's the glory, 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Front line, pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. He's Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Marching line. Hey. Hey.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
So welcome back to Tracer Rounds and welcome back to the NBR platform. And our special guest tonight is Mallory Crabtree. And we just paid tribute to your dad with Tribute to the Troops. We don't usually play that at all at night, only during the day. But we wanted to honor you with that tonight. So I hope you found that.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was a beautiful video. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. I tried to get that together for you, and so I wasn't perfect, but
no, you're okay. No, you're okay. I loved it. I was starting to tear up, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, no, it moves you, and your dad's legacy. There's a lot to be said for that. I mean, he did a lot of good, and he did a lot overseas. Training the Al Qaeda, not Al Qaeda. He was thwarting the Al Qaeda, but the Al Qaeda. SWAT team and whatnot. He was really making a difference over there. Mm-hmm. He really was. And you're making a difference over here.
Thank you.
So what would you say is your greatest joy in going out public speaking? Do a lot of people come up and talk to you, or do you find that you're helping a lot of people, so that brings you a lot of satisfaction and joy? Or what would you say that I know you said that it helps you process everything by public speaking, but what else would you say about the public speaking, and where do you want to see it go? I guess that's what I'm trying to ask you.
I'm trying to inspire others, and I'm trying to help others as well. That is my mission in life, is to help others and to inspire. And I want people who hear my story, I want them to believe in themselves and chasing their own dreams, because I believe that dreams are crucial for an individual's fulfillment of life.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know where I see it going. I want to do it to help others. I want to reach the audience of Gold Star children and families. And I want them to know that I'm here for them. And I want to inspire, children of the fallen, to chase after, what they want to do in life, not to let something so tragic affect them for the rest of their life. I mean, it will affect you, but, you got to overcome it. And, no matter how, hard it is, because one thing that I've learned is you can't sit there and grieve the rest of your life, because that's not what they would want for you. They would want you to move on.
Yeah. And you had a great example to follow. I mean, your dad followed his dreams, like right out of high school. He went right into the service, and then he went to the Q course, and that's no joke. That's hard. Like, I'm not hua enough to pass something like that. So that he was really had that mental toughness and fortitude in order to go through that. Does the Green Beret Foundation or his unit or anybody still reach out to you?
Oh yeah. My dad's unit, we're very close with the guys that are still in. Most of them, are like my dad's age. My dad would have been 50. So, last November. So some of them are still in. My dad, he served with Ohio Secretary of State, Frank LaRose.
Oh, wow.
So Frank is a wonderful mentor.
Yeah.
He helps me out a lot. He's there for me, no matter what I need, he's there for me. He's just a call away. And, all the guys are just a call away from me, if I ever need anything. And I really appreciate all of them. And they hold a parachute jump in Columbus it's around the weekend, like June 8th, whatever the weekend is around there. They hold a parachute jump, and all of them are jumping out of airplanes and honor my dad. And it's a picnic, and we're all together, honoring my dad. And it's really special to me.
Yeah, the big family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice that they're surrounding you and kind of lifting you up.
Mm-hmm.
How's your mom through all this?
I'm sorry?
How's your mom through all this? How did she handle it? I see what you did with it. You turned it into a positive, and you're spreading the word and spreading the message. And I'm sure it had to been hard for her to want her daughter to go public speaking. She probably had a lot of anxiety over it. So what does mom say about all this?
She didn't really know at first. Because I really didn't know how, it was going to go. She knew when I did the first speech, but she had found out, that I was going to do it. And she's like, "Are you sure you're going to be able to do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be able to do it. I'll be okay." But, she supports me no matter what. Yeah. She's always there for me. She supports me 1000%, and she's there for me. I mean, she was a little worried at first, but I don't think she's worried too much anymore. But she doesn't really talk much about the loss of my dad. It's really, really touchy for her subject. Yeah. My mom and dad were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
So they met at 17 and 18 years old. So, and they got married in 2000. So they were only together, married for 6 years when he was lost, almost 6 years.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, growing up, she made sure she was always there for me. But, it's difficult. She has moved on. She found someone that my mom is actually engaged.
Oh,
so
congratulations for her.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, she's been engaged for about a year and a half, I believe.
Yeah. So you're okay with all that, and that's okay with you?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I love her fiance. He treats me like a father figure. He's
Very
father
nice.
figure to me.
Yeah. So what are you doing now? Because you're out of high school, obviously, and so you're in college. And what are you studying?
So right now I am in school for medical assisting. I graduate in January of 2026. And then I am going to continue my bachelor's of science in nursing in January 2026. So I ran into a few bumps in the road, and I, had to, work out a few things. So I am going to continue it in January. But I love medical field, and I don't see myself, being in any other field.
Because it sounds like you are just all about service, like you want to be a help
Right.
to others, no matter what capacity that looks like. But,
Right.
medical field definitely is one that needs
Right.
Workers and needs,
Mhm.
doctors, nurses, physical therapists, all of it. So that's
Mhm.
really a good field that'll keep you gainfully employed, because
Mhm.
we're not
Yeah.
going to not need it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, if I'm gonna stick with that, for my lifelong career. I have a few ideas of what I see myself doing later down the road, but I'm still navigating. In your 20s, you're just navigating through everything, trying to figure out what you truly want to do, and yeah.
It took me a long time to know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I think I just learned last year. Well, I just finished my degree too. I finished it in July. So then I think I was like, well, since I finished it, I guess I need to pick a career. So, so I've settled on one, I think, finally.
Hey, that's okay. There's no rush.
Right, exactly. I've got time. I'm hoping for more time. So yeah. So after you said you said part of the problem that you were had a little bit of bumps in the road with college is because you're so busy with speaking. How often do you go and do a speaking engagement, or does somebody line you up, or do you look for opportunities?
I wouldn't say I'm so busy, but it definitely is difficult. I ran into a slight of an issue in December. I had finals on the day that, one of the events was taking place.
Wow.
So I had to contact the school and let them know and have them move them. So, but by that point, I knew I was going to move anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like there was a lot of reasons why I left traditional college. My degree is online and in person.
Mhm.
So I have some online and some in person. But yeah. So sorry. It was definitely like just after time, I just knew that because I first started off in Cleveland for college.
Yeah.
And then I was finding, I was an hour away from home, and I was getting kind of homesick, I will admit. And I came back closer, but I was still 30 minutes away. And it wasn't working out for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, it's nicer to be closer to home, especially closer to your family and friends and
Right.
everything. They help support you and
Right.
kind of keep you grounded. So it is nice to have some reach back when you need it.
Right.
So you said that they named a building for your dad.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about?
So I really don't know the entire backstory of it.
Yeah.
But I do know it's in Columbus on Rickenbacker Air Base. I do know they were building it for a few years. There's a plaque out there with Army boots and a helmet in honor of my dad, and it's like talks like a little bit about him and everything. And I'm trying to remember. Yeah, and then his name is on the building. It's on the front of the building. And sorry, and then and when you walk inside, there's like a whole bunch of pictures of my dad too. So it's like a little memorial for him. And when we have these parachute jumps and like the picnic afterwards, we always have the picnic in the building.
Oh.
And yeah, it's beautiful. I live 2 hours away from Columbus, so I've only seen it like twice.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, pretty far away from Columbus. So
what would you want to tell somebody else that may have just lost their parent or maybe somebody close to them? What would you tell them? How would you help them, or what would you say to get them on the other side of it? I mean, obviously you were younger when your father passed, so you didn't have that connection with him right away because there was some space and distance between when you started really delving into his history and delving into who he was as a person. But what would you tell somebody that has lost somebody? And I know that you're telling them basically to keep with their dreams and to don't give up hope.
Right.
What other advice would you give them? You've started school and you're focusing on studying and building a career for yourself.
Right.
What would you tell them?
I would say, it's kind of hard for me on that behalf because I never really went through that like grief when I was like younger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really difficult for me to explain because the way I went through grief is different from how they would.
Yeah.
But, I would say, things will get better over time. And, every day is a new day. Just because you have one bad day, doesn't mean, your life is over. It'll get better. And, if you ever need someone to talk to, there's professionals out there that can help you seek help.
Right. Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. So I think we'll take another quick break and then we'll be right back. So we're going to play Joan Mewes' American Dream.
We're living the American dream. I'm the American dream. Go to school, go to work, Sunday mornings choose a church, attend our games, our plays, PTAs. Drive our cars, flying planes, take the buses, take the trains, walk the beach, ski the slopes, living out our dreams and hopes. We're living, yes, we're living the American dream. We're the American dream. Thank you, soldier, sailor, Airman, Guardsman, and Marine. Thank you all for fighting for our freedom and our dreams, protecting our Constitution, guarding our homes and towns, defending
defending our shores, seas and skies, and putting boots on the ground. Some gave all for me and you. We served the red, white, and blue, protecting the American dream. Thanks to you, living the American dream. We're the American dream. The world's become a smaller place, many creeds and one big race, staking our claim to the Creator. We have to find a way for each to still be different but live in peace. Till then, we must protect ourselves, 'cause we're living, yes, we're living the American dream. I'm the American dream. We're the American dream.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome back to the Tracer Runs podcast. And with me today is Mallory Crabtree, who is a Gold Star daughter, and her father was killed in action in Iraq in 2006. And since then, you've been busy blazing the public speaking trail. So you said you weren't really sure about what your future held, but I really think your future holds being an advocate, and whatever shape or form that takes. Whether it's the military or you're in healthcare and you're advocating for patients, or you're advocating for, change of some kind, maybe even a political office, I could almost see you doing too, if you had any desire to go that route.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really do. I mean, I think that just how easy that public speaking comes to you, and how clearly and articulate you are with your message. Like, it's most kids your age. I say kids, you're not a kid, you're an adult, but I guess, but compared to me, you're a kid.
Yeah.
But you really have come into your own, and you really know what direction you want to head, and you're really very determined. And, that says a lot about who you are and about how you were raised and the family that supports you. That says everything in my book anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I just don't know what the future holds. I mean, I do see, maybe potentially, political office. It's hard to tell what the future will hold, Yeah. Still navigating through life, and, big steps in life, in your 20s and 30s. So.
Yeah, you learn a lot, and you grow a lot, and you find your direction, and, doors open or they close, and you kind of determine which path is for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
So, what would you say the most memorable address that you gave, or public speaking engagement? What would you say that was for you?
Like, which event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I will say all of them mean a lot. So it's really hard to tell which one, but the one that I would say most importantly would be when I spoke at Wreaths Across America in Columbus, Ohio in December of 2024.
And can you give us a little bit of a snippet of what you talked about there?
So trying to think, so many months ago. Honestly.
Right. I'm sorry.
No,
Putting you on
it's
the
okay.
spot.
I have the speech right here, but I talked about the event, and I told my story as a Gold Star daughter. I told about my life growing up, and about, my father and his life growing up. And I talked about, Gold Star families and how important they are. And, what is crazy to me is people in today's world do not know what a Gold Star family is.
Exactly. That's why I had you kind of describe it, because there may be somebody listening that doesn't know what that means, or doesn't have any awareness of the sacrifice, or, the symbolism of the Gold Star.
Right. And, and another thing is I tend to see is, people only remember these heroes on holidays, Memorial Day, remembering our heroes is every day. It should be every day.
Right.
Not just a few days out of the year.
No, you're right. You are right. And we here try to do that. We've been trying to honor a service member every week with our tributes. And so just so happens I had you on this week, and we got to do one for you. And I was so excited to be able to play that for you.
Yeah, thank you again. It was beautiful, that video. It truly was.
Our producer, executive producer, Joel, who you met, he's the one that created that and started that whole acknowledgement and tribute. And I think it was a very wonderful thing that he did, because I really think, like you do, that every day of the week should be celebrating the nation's heroes and those that have, led the way for the rest of us, or given us our freedoms, because both you and I know freedom is not free. There's costs associated with it. Some are at the expense of someone's life, and others are, how they come back. They may have been injured, and that's going to affect them for the long term.
Right. Yeah. Even injuries, Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, for sure. So you said you're going to go into get your bachelor's in the medical field. And so what do you want to do in the medical field? What's your avenue to healthcare practice? What would you say you're going to be doing, or you think you're going to be doing?
So what I hope to be doing, so I'm getting my bachelor's degree in science and nursing. So I'll be a registered nurse, and I hope to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's exciting.
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do for a very long time. And it hasn't changed since. So, it may change, never know, but that's what I've been wanting to do since I got out of high school. So.
And you had some good examples that were doctors in your family?
Right. My mom's sister and her husband are both doctors as well. And my aunt is a VA doctor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
So she works currently for the VA?
Correct. Yeah.
As a physician. Oh, nice. So you're still connected to the military, even to this day. The family is. So that's pretty cool. So is there something you'd want to say to someone out there that doesn't know what a Gold Star family is, or doesn't have any awareness of how the military serves the nation? Is there something you'd want to tell somebody that was that's not even really aware of what the military does, and of the sacrifices the military makes on the day-to-day basis, and the families of those service members, the sacrifices they make? Is there something you'd want to tell somebody like that?
I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused. So if there's somebody out there in the civilian world, because obviously a military member would know what the sacrifices are of what the military does on a day-to-day basis, and what the families do to support that soldier. So is there something you would tell somebody that isn't aware of that service and the sacrifice and the way the military serves
the nation. Is there something you'd want to say to those people tonight?
I would say, the sacrifices are not talked about as much as we should be, as a nation. People, no one's ever gonna, no civilian is ever gonna truly know, how it feels if it hasn't happened to them.
Right. That's true.
So it's something that only people who it's happened to really understand.
Right.
So, it's hard to, because you could tell someone, about it, and they just, they don't know what to say.
Right. Yeah. It is
Most
hard.
of the time it's, they don't know what to say. It's, because when I tell someone I'm a Gold Star family, or, I lost my father overseas, they don't know what to say. They're just shocked. Because it's something you don't hear every single day,
True.
So,
yeah, there really isn't an awareness, and people don't really think about the costs of war and the costs of somebody's service, country to the nation. And so you're right. People don't know what to say because they're kind of taken aback when they realize, all these things I've heard. I mean, freedom really isn't free, and freedom really does cost, and it comes at the cost, of the family that's missing that member. So I agree with you. And I want to applaud you truly for, how resilient you are. Because someone could take this a whole other direction and say, well, why me? And this is, and it's really very sad, and it is hard, but you've taken this hard event and really made something positive. And I really think your dad would be really proud of you, honestly.
Thank you. I
really do. Yeah, because I could tell like he was a go-getter, and like he wasn't going to take no for an answer, and he was just going to keep going until he got what he wanted. And so I think you're your father's daughter. I really do.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, even though you didn't have him around while you were in your forming years, I think he was still with you that whole time, because the legacy and the information your family gave you really then gave you who your father was as a person, and really helped you kind of shape who you wanted to be, because you took that message and you really took it to heart, and you really made his mission your mission.
Right. Yeah. He really did inspire me, from a young age. I just, for as long as I remember, I wanted to be just like him.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and I think you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think you favor him too. Just seeing his picture, and then getting to chat with you. I mean, I think you favor him as well. So I really think you're a chip off the old block.
Yeah, I get a lot that we are very similar with humor. So yeah, I'll say something, and then my grandma's like, "That's something your dad would say," and I'm like, "Oh, oh, I just, I don't realize it at all."
Yeah, but they have the benefit of knowing your dad, and knowing his personality and his mannerisms, and so then they get to see that in you. And I'm sure that gives them a little bit of comfort knowing that there's still that part of the family that's still there through you. Because that really, it helps them too. Seeing what you're doing, I'm sure helps your grandparents in their process too, kind of honoring their son and your father. That's pretty special to them too, I imagine. What do they say about all of this? I'm sure they support you, but what was their take when you said, "I'm going to go start talking"? And they're like, "What?"
They were surprised.
Yeah.
But they're really proud of me.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they're really proud of how far, I've come when, I was just a baby of not knowing, and into the person I am today at 20 years old. My cousins are also proud of me as well. So, and, just my family as a whole, and, my dad's friends, and, people he served with, we're just one big family. And I'm glad that I have that support because they're always there for me, no matter what.
That's great. It's really a blessing to hear that people surround you like that and really support you and lift you up. So you're doing this work, and then they're behind you, lifting you up so you can do the work.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for them all. It's just. It's just a big thank you to them. I love them all so much, and I'm glad that they're there by my side because I don't think that I would be able to do it without them.
Do they come with you when you go speaking sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're there every time, and they watch every single podcast and radio show too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really neat that you have such a big support system through. Do the police force, do they still honor him too? Do they help you out too?
Yeah, they do. They actually have a Cuyahoga Falls has a SWAT truck with my dad's picture on it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
It's beautiful, and there's also a drug sniffing dog named Dan C.
Oh, very cool.
Mm-hmm. He's the sweetest little dog ever.
Oh. That's really neat that they were able to do that for your dad and for you, because not only does it honor your dad, but it honors the family of the fallen. So I think that's pretty special. Yeah. Well, we've got just a few minutes left in the podcast. Is there anything else you want to say or talk about? Any upcoming speaking engagements, or the way people get a hold of you if they want to chat with you, or they want you to, maybe come on their show or speak in front of something that it's being, some event that's going on or convention or something?
You can contact me with the Instagram and the TikTok down below on the screen. I do have a speech on Memorial Day planned out. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to say, the city or anything, but I do have that coming up on Memorial Day.
Very
and
nice.
I have a luncheon coming up in May as well. Another wreath laying ceremony that I'll be attending a few days before Memorial Day in Columbus. And then I have my dad's parachute jump and picnic in June I have coming up as well.
In June. Do they record that, or do they broadcast it anywhere? Do they live stream it? Because I'd sure like to catch that.
The parachute jump?
Yeah. Do they?
No, they don't.
Anywhere?
It's just more of like family, friends, like picnic and stuff. The first time we went was last year. We couldn't make the first one. But they were jumping out of airplanes for 4 hours.
Oh wow. I'm sure they had a good time too.
Oh yeah, they did. They did, and we're just watching them flying through the air and everything. They had a great time doing it, and it's just great that that they're able to do it.
Right, definitely.
They got to use the airport runway in order to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. I know that we didn't really get to talk much beforehand to really kind of, get to know one another, but I feel like I really do know you now, and, know the strong person that you are and how resilient you are and how much passion you have for Gold Star families and for the military in general, and for just getting the word out. And I want to thank you for what you do, because the work you do progresses the military mission, whether you know it or not. And it really gets the word out there of what it means to be a service member and a family member of a service member. So I really want to thank you for what you do.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for your service and having me on today.
Of course.
I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
It was nice meeting you.
It's very nice to meet you too. And so you'll have to keep us kind of up to date with what you're doing and your progress, because we'd like to keep up with you.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. Well, so this is going to be Tracer Round signing off. And thank you so much, Mallory, and keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.